It's crazy.
I'll talk about
It's
rough. Whenever I worked at the factory, I was an inspector at Ison Manufacturing, and I don't know if you've ever heard of that before. But
nope, I sure have not. Oops.
but I
Oops.
was I was an inspector out there, and they would go and they'd put me in the sound booth. That was pain in the butt because you had to stand there for 8 hours with an electronic stethoscope to go and get to do your job.
Wow.
And the hardest part was just standing there, and then some days I'd be running one factory to check one line, then check 30 units and done there, and then I have to come
Uh-huh.
back down to the front of the factory, check pallets of sunroofs that was coming out before we sent them to the warehouse.
Uh-huh.
Now,
Oh God. Well,
well,
I
are
am. I'm
live.
Hey, put me and B Lynn as mods.
I don't know.
How to do that? I don't know either.
I, I don't know either. Daniel will have to run us through. I just messaged him saying, "Get your ass in here. This is your podcast."
Hi B,
I
Dinobot,
miss B.
Brandon, Carolina Cryptid Crew, Melissa, Bobcat. Are you there?
He's here. While we're waiting on other man of the hour to get in here, welcome everybody to our special edition of Raw and Uncensored. Since we usually do a weekly podcast on the Bigfoot Zone ECBRO page, Daniel was unable to go and have the way of doing it this week. So we're doing it on my channel this week. So we're doing Raw and Uncensored tonight. There will not be a Raw and Uncensored tomorrow night. We're doing a joint. Daniel says he's got to update Hangouts on his phone.
Oh. Yep. Okay. So then let's talk. Yes, B, my job. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna really like it once my feet stop hurting, and I don't have to focus on that because I have not walked this much in a long time since my other really big job. But it's been 9 years since I've done that much walking like that.
What
So
are you doing now?
well, I'm working at a hospital, but I signed some disclosure agreements, so I can't really tell you on air what I do. But let's just say I go to every single floor and I do deal with patients. And yeah. So, I mean,
Oh
I'll tell
man.
you off air. I'll tell people what I do off air, but it's just a lot of walking. I have to go down and get reports and then come back up and go down and come back up. And so
You guys that
it's
work in
good.
hospital are a different breed of people. I couldn't do it.
Oh my God. I walked in on this lady, I will tell you this, and she threw up the minute I walked in the door. I was like, oh, I couldn't have picked that timing perfect.
I would have felt insulted and everything. I'd be like, damn, am I that ugly?
And I still had to go in there, but um
That's
they're so
something you don't
sick.
want to
they
hear.
need they need they need a very happy person to go in there because they're not happy. They're in the hospital, they are not feeling well. So it's really important that you go in there and you're upbeat, and you wish them a good day even though they're having a really crappy one. And which I find really easy to do because they anything's better than what they're going through right at that moment. So I'm blessed that it's just my feet are hurting because I've walked a lot. I don't have tubes or anything coming out of me. So, um,
Oh boy.
but yeah, so it's good, and It's hard because you have to learn all the different codes and everything of a hospital, and it breaks your heart when you hear the code for a baby death and stuff like that. It's just
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
not good. And seeing your first, person gone and everything, and how they the procedure and everything they do, it's some real awakening to life and death, and because nothing's better than walking in and seeing a newborn on mama. It's like
Right.
that was a good one. That was a really good moment. My first moment I did that, and it's like, oh, that's the good things.
Yeah, my girlfriend, she does she's a home health, and
Oh,
she'll
huh.
tell you, she says it's not for the faint of heart.
Yeah,
But
it's not.
well, we already
It's really
definitely. I
my
mean,
my
she's told me,
sister's a
she said she's
CNA.
seen. Yeah, she is. My girlfriend Jacqueline is too.
Uh-huh.
She has seen two residents die. And she says once you see someone die, it changes. You know. But
Yeah. Yeah.
we already got questions rolling in on here. Dinobot65 says I asked Todd Standing on his last live stream on Wednesday about what he believed was the maximum size adult Sasquatch, and he did respond. And he said they'd be about 2 feet tall and 1,000 pounds.
10
Nikki?
feet tall. Wow. Yeah.
Well, I will say this. I have seen one about 3 years ago. That's one of my more infamous encounters that I've had, and with the Thunder Giant. The Thunder I gauged to be about 10 foot tall. And then the next day when I
Uh-huh.
got back to the shop, I broke out a tape measure and I gauged about how it was. I said he was about as high as the up to the trusses my pole barn, and I broke out the tape measure and I
Uh-huh.
stretched it out, and it was exactly 10 high.
Wow.
But
I think
I
in some
honestly,
areas like up in Canada and Alaska, I think they can get a little bit bigger, maybe in the 11 and 12 range.
yeah,
But
it seems like the further north you go and the colder you get, the bigger they get.
well, there's bigger prey, bigger animals. There's a lot of moose and, bear and what have you. That's bigger, and up in that whole area from Seattle on up through Canada and Alaska, they have the salmon runs that are huge.
Oh yes.
So they have that opportunity for all that protein, and the caribou, and that's, tremendous, because something that big needs to eat a lot.
Oh
They need a
yeah.
lot of that protein, for their heart alone. I mean, the big animal, big heart, needs to pump a lot of blood. So it needs to have that food source.
Well,
But
that, and I mean, you're going to be up there in cold temperatures and everything, and they're up there in Alaska. They get up to 20 to 40 below zero
right, they
in the
probably
winter time. And they go, and you got, I mean, it's got to be big animal and everything to keep those calories burning and keep the body heat going.
right, right.
There's
About
the ugly
time.
son of a bitch right there.
Yeah, this thing's retarded. I'm trying to get this to work right. There we go.
Oh,
Yeah,
uh,
I haven't been on here through my phone in like forever, so I had to update the Hangouts app. So,
uh,
and I like to usually look at the live chat, so I won't be able to watch the live chat tonight. So,
Don't worry,
okay.
we're on it.
all right, cool
I
beans. Can you guys
I
hear
got
me?
about
Okay.
30.
You sound
Yeah.
like you're on the radio.
Sounds like I'm on the radio. Well, I'm in the right place.
Well, and everybody, please make welcome the man of the hour, the host of Bigfoot Zone on Bigfoot Zone ECBRO, Mr. Daniel Joseph Benoit, founder of the ECBRO and the host of the 2019 ECBRO Virginia Bigfoot Conference coming down on June 29th of this year in Wayne, Virginia.
How you doing?
How you doing? Oh man.
Behave yourself, Norbert.
Oh, what's new with you, Josh? What's new with you, boss?
I just got done eating some delicious macaroni and cheese. Hold on, let me go shut my door here because there's too much bass in here now.
I was gonna say dinner of kings right there.
Dinner of Kings.
All right.
Hey, you ain't had good dinner till you go and eat macaroni and cheese and you use beef jerky to dip it out with.
Wow, that you know what? That's very creative.
I did that. I did that one time. I was in Branson, Missouri on vacation one time.
Well, we had macaroni and cheese and burgers. So I mean, yeah.
Oh, you had the macaroni. You had macaroni and cheeseburgers.
Yeah, macaroni and cheese and burgers. Yeah.
You put the macaroni and cheese on your burger, you're set.
Well, hey, I've been that's how I did. You put the burger in the plate. Well, we didn't have no buns, so we just seasoned up the burger real good, and then just because the macaroni and cheese, the way I make it, it was not your ordinary macaroni and cheese. I had I took some bow ties, blend, put them in there. I had a box of Velveeta shells and cheese. Then I had a pack of these. Then I had a box of these spiral cheddar. You know, they're like I forget the pasta and broccoli. It already has a cheese powder mixed into it, and just the way I cooked it came out. Yeah, it came out perfect. Where it wasn't dry, it was nice and creamy and tasty. So
that's good.
It was nice.
You put the broccoli in there.
No, the broccoli actually comes in the packet. So yeah, it's one of those. I forget the name brand of them. I'll have to go look at the package, but yeah, it's good stuff. Tell you
I only had the strength to make tuna sandwiches tonight.
Well, the thing is, I almost didn't do that because, between yesterday, I've been on the road all day, and today was another long day. I got back a little earlier. I got back to the shop. It was like 6:15 when I got back to the shop because I had a long drive today. And, see, I was stuck in town. I was stuck over there in Waynesboro, which is, on the opposite end from where I was at. So, I was like, I don't know. This is long. I had to wait to be unloaded up there. But anyway, I made it here home and got settled down, relaxed, ate dinner. I told Brianna, I was like, she was like, I'm hungry. I was like, you know where the stove is, I told her. I said, Daddy's really tired. But then I was like, what the heck? I'll make something. I looked at the time. I said, I got enough time to do this. I'll do it. So,
that's good.
Yeah, so we got our tummies full. So unless she's eating, there's plenty of leftovers. I've already had like three good plates of macaroni and cheese, and there's still plenty left. So, but yeah.
That's good.
And I got a question. I checked on something. Maybe I misunderstood, or somebody told me something, and maybe they misunderstood. Well, wasn't Richter supposed to have a new episode tonight, or is that maybe coming out later?
Yeah, no, it comes out at 7.
Comes out at 7.
Oh, I'm sorry, my time. That'd be 9 yours, right?
Hey, now we got another superstar in here. The star, What on Earth, in Search of King Arthur on the side on the side channel from B County, Texas, Mr. Baldemar Galvan Jr. Baldemar.
Thank you for the introduction, and I ain't famous.
Hey, Daniel.
Yeah.
How does we need some moderators? Make
I'm
me
working.
be. Oh.
Yeah, we're on Zach's channel. I have no control of it.
Hold him.
I'm working on it.
See, I can't see the live chat since I'm on my phone. So, how you doing, Baldemar?
I'm doing good.
Awesome. Yeah, can you hear me okay, Baldemar?
I can hear you perfectly.
All right, great. I don't have no headset or nothing. I'm just straight through the phone right now. Yeah, because I didn't have
I'll tell you guys what. Guys, what? Daniel, since we're doing the joint episode of Bigfoot Zone and Raw and Uncensored, I'm going to set up the page moderators real quick, and I tell you, let you guys go ahead and sit there and chat. But I'll be right here.
Wow, you don't want to talk tonight?
Well, I'll talk. I'll just be right back. I'm right here. I got to set page moderators.
Okay. Well, it's only a click of a button. Anyway.
Oh.
Oh man. Well, first of all, I want to ask Nikki, how you been doing? I haven't since you've been working. I haven't been talking to you that much.
I know, because I can't get a signal inside the hospital. They shut down everything. I guess like a couple of weeks before I started, the Wi-Fi that they have available inside the hospital for the employees got turned off because too many employees were paying attention to their phones. So the administration decided to just shut it off, and that's what they did. So now I don't get nothing inside the hospital. I have to go all the way out to like the very front before I pick up a signal. So I just put it away. It's just in my pocket, you know.
Hey,
Oh,
I
that's one
can
way
hear
to
it
do it.
now. I can hear it now. Doctor, hurry up! He's in cardiac arrest. Hold on, somebody just blocked me. Damn it.
Yeah.
Hey, we just
Well,
got a
you
code
should.
black. Sorry, I was sending a tweet.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they still pull out their phones and are, because the phone part works, but the internet part doesn't work. So people
Ah,
are still checking messages. Some messages come through, and mine is kind of weird. I if I go through one certain part, then all of a sudden I get, a bunch of them at one time, and then so it's weird. So I just kind of like turn the volume off and just deal with it.
yeah.
But
No, the hospitals around here. No, I don't know if all of them do, but I know one in particular. Um, what like all the nurses and stuff when they come into the rooms to check on you, they have the device that looks like a cell phone, but it's basically
mm-hmm.
for their login information. Instead of writing stuff down, they
Oh,
actually, yeah, it's all touchscreen and
yeah.
it's yeah. Some of them about the size of a cell phone. I've seen them is almost
Uh-huh.
like a small tablet. Some of them. So
Uh-huh. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty
well,
cool. A
they're
lot of
all
them's gone.
internal. They have their own internal stuff there. Like I have to carry a phone, but it's a phone that's used directly in the hospital. It looks like one of
Oh
those old Nokia phones. Do you remember those old Nokia phones
yeah.
that kind of
They're still using
I
them at Harrisburg.
it kind of it kind of looks like that, and because the nurses have to get in touch with me right away, so I have to have a phone. And actually today was my first time that I was given a phone, and I'm like, that I hate it now. I already hate the phone. I'm like, holy crap, how many times does that thing ring? And they're like, well, you just had a bad day. And
Hey
I'm
guys,
like,
I hate to interrupt, but someone wants to say hello to Nikki, Daniel, and Baldemar.
okay, who's that?
Good evening, folks. This is Mama. How y'all
How
doing?
you
Oh,
doing?
hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm tired. I called off.
I'm with you, sister. I am with you.
Oh, my God, it's been
Oh,
crazy
it's been,
work and school and trying to get things
yes.
lined up for my at the salon. Did Zach tell y'all? I have a
No.
No.
salon to go to as soon as I'm done with school.
Oh
My own
wow.
business, my own boss. I just gotta have all my equipment and supplies, but I'd rather pay him $300 and pocket the rest than pay and take care of business myself.
Wow.
So anyway, well, five or six facials, Daniel, will pay my rent.
Good luck giving him a facial.
So I'll be done pretty quick with rent first week. Yeah.
Oh my.
Jack said, good luck giving you a facial.
Yeah, that's what
I
Zach
think I'm
said. Yeah.
probably going to give, I'm going to give two of the Squatchers facials when I'm in Virginia. So
Nice.
just
Woo.
pause. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm
Nice.
going to let you go. I've been cleaning. So talk to you. Have a good night.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
you
you very
too.
much. You
All
take
right.
Bye.
it easy.
Bye. I will.
Oh
No.
boy. Yeah,
Ah.
that's a little update. Mom finally got herself set up for whenever she gets out of esthetician school, and I'm pretty proud of her. But well, if we're here, Daniel, you want to do a podcast? You're the man in charge tonight. I'm just sitting here running the switchboard. You
All
go.
right.
No, not my mouth.
Well, all right. Please interrupt me if we have questions on the live chat, because since I can't view the live chat, because usually when I usually do the hosting, I'm used to watching the live chat and kind of going from there. I use the live chat for part of the it helps you run the whole thing. But what I'm going to do, first of all, let me ask everybody. I want to get everybody's input on my Facebook Live that I did earlier this week regarding documentation, evidence, and then in my squash thought of the day that I did earlier today, which it all relates. Um, Now, one thing I made a statement on, and I don't know, there's a lot of people. I think they very much understood it. A lot of people appreciate it, liked it. Then again, some people take it and twist it and don't like it, whatever, because they don't know nothing. But what's your take on the way I word things? Like, for example, just in case for those who haven't listened to them. Now, when we go out in the woods, when we find stuff out in the woods that we believe or that we relate to Bigfoot, now, if we take pictures of it, if we pour plaster in a foot cast, now to us, that's evidence, right? I mean, that's our own evidence that we consider evidence. Is that correct? I mean, would you guys agree with that?
I'll treat it like this, Daniel. I am that is correct. I have my own kit when I go out. Every time when I go out, I have my kit.
Right.
It consists of plaster, tweezers, envelopes, anything that I can see. What you're going into is that you're going to me personally. It's like going into a crime scene.
Right.
So that's because you have to consider it like that. Because the thing is, what you're doing is you're gathering evidence. It's just like a crime that's just been committed. So that's why that's why for me personally, I got my tweezers or anything like that when I remove hair samples or anything like that, just making sure that nothing gets contaminated. And I even have my own rubber gloves in there as well. And
Right.
so like that, we have to. We have to as researchers. We there's sometimes that people take it to the extreme. Sometimes when gathering the evidence, I do. Because I just don't want to mess up an opportunity. I did one time, and it's not going to happen again. And that's why you have to put your ducks in a row before you go out there, making sure that you have the proper equipment, the proper get a scale, get a $1 bill, you find a footprint, or use something for a scale for that. Because somebody would just take a picture of a footprint. How big is it? Without a scale, we just don't know. And and also too a documentation. I found this track this certain day, this certain time.
Right.
Stuff like that. You have to, and I have my own little pads down, note, dictate them down and whatever. I went squashing this particular day. Well, I don't call it squashing. I just call it looking around. Birding and things like that. That's what I do. And it's something that if I've turned out to find a footprint or something like that, something to Bigfoot related, then I'll just gather the evidence the best I possibly can. So
Absolutely. Now, I really appreciate you sharing that information too, because now here's some follow up questions. And you Baltimore, anyone can answer these questions. Because I'm going to ask questions instead of. I'm trying to think of the best way to word this because based off of the Facebook Live I did the other day about or earlier this week, and then my Squatch Thought video that I posted earlier, talking about objective the objective side of evidence or whatever. I forgot how I titled it, but anyway, I'm going to present. I want to go over to basically touch base on a few things in a different form. Now, with the evidence that we collect, it's clear that that we could all agree that it is evidence. Now, the next question is: here we are as Bigfoot researchers, and as we collect and document and keep record of everything that regardless of how we keep record or document, either it be through a notepad, a photo, or video, or audio. Can we say that it's Bigfoot?
no.
Right.
We can't.
See, right.
Because the
See,
thing is,
now,
again, I'm going to answer like this, Daniel. I really don't mean to be, jumping in whatever like this, but there's sometimes too is that when you come up there and you have your audio, because again, there's so many different types of species of animals in the woods, and there's sometimes we just don't know what kind of animals, what sounds that they make through fighting, through mating. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on there in the woods, and
yep.
that's why when you hear the sound and hey, there's something close by here, and then because we know exactly what that is. And then the thing is, that's the kind of stuff that we have to listen for. Everything in the woods, any sound or anything like that, it's not a sound that a Bigfoot makes. Because there's some time I saw an audio one time where they were saying that that Bigfoot was mimicking a barred owl, and to me it sounded just like perfect barred owl, same kind of characteristics of a barred owl, and they were calling it Bigfoot related, and I was going, no, it sounds way too perfect to be a barred owl.
Right. See, I can relate to you. I can relate to exactly what you're talking about. Give me a second. I'm trying to fix something here. This may not work, but nope, it's not working the way I want it to. All right, I'll leave it at that. Well, all right. I like what. See, don't yell. Feel free to jump in anytime. That's what this is for. Yeah, because I'm sure. Yeah, scientifically, we can't say it's Bigfoot, but your average Joe, well, there's your average Joe will say it's Bigfoot without proving it, which is sad. But unless we observe the source that's leaving it behind, only then can we say it was that or this. Now the thing is, with what we collect, photos of broken trees, photos of twisted trees, hair samples, foot casts, and I have, I believe it's safe to say that we've all come across this, as far as, most of us in general, if not all of them, one or the other, these are all what we consider our evidence. And the other question is, if we think about this, because a lot of people are only out to prove for themselves, which is fine. That's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But then you got people that want to share information, like myself. I want to share. If I learn something, I want to share it. If I have a piece of information that's on my mind, I want to share it. So I believe about, if I learn something, I want to share it to others so they could learn something. So I want to teach what I learn. I guess that's part of the passion that I have inside me here for this subject, because I care about this subject very much. So then the other thing we got to ask ourselves with what we have, regardless if it's a broken tree, a picture of a tree, twisted or whatever, can we present this to science and say, hey, here's some Bigfoot evidence? Will science accept that?
No. No way.
Exactly.
Daniel, the thing is, it's like this. I'm a birder, and let me tell you one thing. And I don't know every species of bird that's out there.
Right.
And in order for us to identify a certain bird, we have to make sure that we know how the wings are, how the tails are, the beak is, and everything like that are the characteristics of the bird. So the same thing with Bigfoot. There's some people that use Bigfoot as a way to gather a whole bunch of people in. There's sometimes without Bigfoot in the Bigfoot community, there's some people in the Bigfoot community ain't nothing without the subject. You see, and right. So that's why there's sometimes that people just go way and beyond the extreme of trying to get as most people as possible. Hey, listen, this is what I've got. And the majority of the stuff, it doesn't make any sense because it's not scientifically proven anything. There's some people that have photos of one day this certain researcher went up there and sent me a photo, and here's a proof that Bigfoot is real, and it was nothing but a stump. It wasn't a good clear shot. Everything was blurry, and me personally, I couldn't call it a Bigfoot because if I would have called it a Bigfoot, it would make me look stupid. I don't like anybody pissing down my boots and telling me it's a rainstorm. I'm sorry. I just call it the way it is. So don't, and I don't like researchers sending me information to come up there and say, I want your opinion. This is a Bigfoot, right? Sorry, it's not. It's not clear enough for me, and I can't make it, and I cannot put my name out there stating that this is something that's there. There's something that's a Bigfoot when it's not. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. So if it's like a paranormal research. When in doubt, throw it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Try not to drop my phone. Okay, there we go. I'm trying to set something up here so I don't have to keep holding my phone. There we go. So, well, yeah, like you mentioned, birds are a good example for what I'm about to talk about next. As far as identifying the different sounds and everything that we relate to Bigfoot too, there's so much that we can't say is Bigfoot because you know what? As much as I talk about wildlife, I feel like some people don't want to hear about that. Because there's, people that say, well, I know every animal out there. I know every sound that they make. Bull doo-doo.
No shit.
I mean, because tones of or birds, for example, I'll name a few different species. Birds, coyotes, owls, fox, and Baldemar. I believe you'll probably agree with me on this. Coyotes, there are several different sounds and tones that they can vocalize.
Sure, yeah.
Same thing with owls. Sometimes the owls sound like they're very bassy, or depending on the location where they're hooting and hawking, because in my research area, we have tons of barred owls. I've heard them close numerous times. I've heard them distant. And we have a lot of, hills and, mountain ridges and stuff. So, their sounds bounce off and you can hear the bass coming from out of the hollow areas, And so around, so, there's all these different animals that are known for making all these different tones and vocals. And there's only a few limited ones that most of us are used to hearing. And when we hear these other ones, like, oh my goodness, that's got to be a Squatch. There's a Squatch in the area. I'm guilty of that. I'm not afraid to admit, I'm very guilty of that. Automatically assuming that it was a Squatch when it could be just another coyote, So I think that's something else too. That's why I always tell people, I said, we got to be careful. We got to be cautious. We got to sometimes question ourselves about, if I go and tell people, yeah, I heard a Squatch tonight, we don't know because we did not see it, So I think there is a problem inside the Bigfoot community. They're not objective enough. I think there's a portion of the Bigfoot community that seems to be more fantasy than reality. It's like they feel like it's more necessary to share what's more appealing and exciting to share and create, and rather than, let's be serious and say, well, okay, let's try to solve this, let's try to learn something here. Let's try to figure out and rule out this. I find it more exciting and more incredible if we could learn and rule out and eliminate the other possibilities that might lead us to the actual responsible subject that might be responsible for what we hear or what we find, So, because I think it all boils down to, unless we see a subject doing something, rather it be a Bigfoot, a bear, tiger, whatever it might be, unless we see the subject doing, leaving a track or leaving a piece of hair or, twisting a tree limb. I mean, I don't think it's safe that we should say that Bigfoot's responsible unless we saw them do it. You know, so
Thank you. That's what I agree to.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
So, I mean, yeah, we like to believe, like, you know, I take pictures of structures or formations. Some of them, to me, are mind blowing. Some of them are fascinating. And when I share them, I try so hard to make sure people understand when I post these pictures because I like to share them. They look cool, you know. I try to tell people this is maybe a possible Sasquatch structure and formation, and I'll try to explain why because it does not appear to be made by hands. I believe weather may not even be responsible for this. Then on the other hand, of course, you know, we try to rule out the obvious. So, um, uh, so yeah, you guys, I mean, so far you guys get where I'm going at, right? You know, as far as, you know, because I'm just trying to touch base. I'm using this here. Well, let me back up. I'm trying to use basically my squash thought, you know, and then, you know, trying to finalize and making a point about where I started at because it was kind of like a short little lesson when I did my Facebook Live video early this week explaining about documentation. And, you know, I did, you know, it wasn't just about the definition of documentation because people, you know, weren't listening correctly and they thought they knew what documentation meant. And, you know, because, you know, people take things that I try to do and mimic them and copy them, and they're totally wrong because they don't know how to comprehend nothing. And if anybody was listening carefully, I know there was quite a few. I was getting a lot of positive responses, and people understood exactly what I was getting at. Because if you dig deep enough in the word documentation, learning the antonyms and the synonyms of the word, and it breaks it down. If you go in further, talk about it does get into you know, breaking down into the evidence and you know, and other things. You know, we understand what documents are, and documentation is keeping track and record of, you know, various things. And I was using evidence for example. And also, if you get down into it, it clearly says, like, as far as making, I got into the part where we got into talking about claims. We can make claims about Bigfoot all day, every day, all year, for years to come, and we can make claims and tell people about these claims and preach these claims till you're blue in the face. And without the source of the claim, it comes down to this: without the source, ladies and gentlemen, you have nothing, and you proved nothing. Because unless the source is available, you cannot preach it as fact. You cannot teach it. It's a theory. Hypothetically, it's a theory. That's exactly what it is. If you do the research, you'll come across these words too. I did. That's why I'm using them. Hypothetical, you know, and theories and blah blah blah. You know, so it's just a theory. Again, without the go ahead.
Well, I'm just going to say that you can call everything documentation. You can do that.
Right.
It is, okay? The thing is that it doesn't hold up scientifically unless you can duplicate that evidence. Anybody. I mean, somebody should be able to come in and do exactly what you're doing for it to be substantiated as a factual document. You know, because I could say unicorns are alive. I have a picture of it, and I show something off into the woods, but does that mean it's real?
Right.
You can't take me for my word. Maybe I saw it with my own eyes, and that's fine. That's great. But that piece of photographic evidence, that blob that's in the forest or whatever, is my evidence for me not to share publicly, because I can't prove what that is unless it's a photograph like Freeman footage or PG or something where it is defined. You don't need a circle. You don't need to enhance. You don't need to bring out the colors. You don't have to mess with the photo. Then it's just yours. It's your evidence. Keep it to yourself and, you know, share it not publicly, Peer review is very important. So you do need to find some reliable people that you trust who can look at your work or look at what you're calling evidence and documentation.
Right.
Great. Excellent point.
So yeah, it's all good. I mean, if I get what I think is a footprint, I'm going to cast it and I'm going to keep it for myself. But I didn't see the Bigfoot make that print.
Right.
You
But
know?
Nikki, can I make a statement real quick?
Yeah.
Basically, I'm gonna sum up everything you said right there because I like what you said. But I'm gonna sum it up in 2 words:
Hmm.
self perception. It's what we perceive and believe it to be from our own understanding, our own insight. So basically, yeah, somebody posts a Bigfoot blurry blob picture out there that looks like shadows or smudges. To them, it's Bigfoot. Well, that's their perception. It's what they, are they deceived? Have they been? Is it self deceit? Maybe, because to the rest of the world, it's just a blurry blobby squatch. Whatever it might be.
Right.
There's no definition. There's no details. There's no bodily figure. And
Well,
there's no
that's
evidence
the
that it is a squatch.
that's the whole controversy in the whole Bigfoot community. I mean, look at what happened on Bigfoot Odyssey. Some of the pictures that got posted on there, people, they say what they feel, and then that person, whoever that photo is, who posted it, gets their feelings hurt, and they start blocking people, and then they, call people trolls and all that stuff. But when you're just asking a question as to, well, did you alter this photo, or where did you get this photo, or that it's just a question. But we're not talking to each other face to face so that you can get the inflection from our voice, so that they get that we're just asking a question. The person on the other end is seeing a comment and they're taking it as, oh, you think that's evidence? Where did you get that photo? They're thinking the worst in comments.
Yeah.
Oh
We,
yeah,
Well,
I've been handed pictures
every,
of blob squatches before and got blocked before.
yeah. And
They say, "Tell me what
if
you
you can't
see and give me
take,
your opinion."
right, exactly. It's your opinion. It's all opinion, all of it. And I believe Bigfoot exists because I believe certain people who have seen them and have told me their stories. I believe those people. I don't believe everybody who's told me their stories. I believe some people who have told me their stories, but that's my opinion.
right. And I'm the
And
same. I'm the same way.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that's all. It's not a big deal. To me, it's not a big deal because this is fun stuff.
Yeah.
All this stuff is the fun stuff. And my opinion should, if you're offended by my opinion, then fine, don't listen to it. That's
Nikki,
all.
my thing is, I don't know. I often think about 3 words. I am not lying. Because, I question people and I share my honest opinion with a lot of people. A lot of people take it cool. I mean, a lot of people understand my opinion and they appreciate my honesty. Then, as you just mentioned, the ones that get offended, it never makes sense. Why are they getting offended when you're being honest? It's just they want you to go along with it. No, you can't do that. You're not going to get
No,
nowhere that way.
no,
And
go ahead. Finish
oh
your
no, I'm
thought.
just gonna. Yeah, no, you're fine. I'm writing myself. I'm writing stuff down so I don't forget.
Oh,
so
no, I
so
just
yeah.
think that, dang it.
Huh?
I'm just saying
Oh
that I think we all can voice our opinions and not bash. I'm not bashing anybody when I'm asking a question about something.
yeah.
And it doesn't matter that I'm different from anybody else. You know
Exactly.
why? Because we don't have, okay, yes, maybe the government has one, but we don't have that information and it's not out publicly. You can say that, yeah, the government has one for sure, and you're probably right. Probably is the key word. We don't have that information, you know? And it, so there is no facts yet
Right.
about stuff. And yes, yourself, you can have facts because you have them living in your backyard and you interact with them or you see them every day. But can I go to your backyard and see them and get the same stuff as you? Then you have to let somebody, a skeptic, you have to let somebody go in there and get the same results you have for that to be
Exactly.
fact.
Exactly.
Yep.
Well said. That is perfect.
Yes, indeed.
You know, that's all. That's all it is. I want to believe you. I want that this to come out. You know, I want more people to get involved in this, and there should be more people who are skeptic and asking the questions, not less.
Exactly.
Yeah.
See, out here, when I first started out here, nobody talked about Bigfoot out here. Nobody did. And then when I actually had my encounter and got my little groups together and went in the news a few times and everything like that, papers and newspaper. Now that's what a lot of the people talk about now. And at least here, I got the ball rolling a little bit. I got interest. I got people interested now. I have little kids interested in there. I have like a 8-month-old baby, honey, do the Bigfoot yell, and she does it. And seeing that is so precious to me.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the thing is, Daniel, it's like, you know, why are we here for? For as an individual person, why are we here for?
Right.
Because we have a mission. We should have, because I don't even know if the Bigfoot community has a mission. You know, so the thing is, again, for us, for me personally, get the right information out. You know, uh, you know, get your best information you can. Talk to as much people as you possibly can. Write down a timeline. And from there, just be honest with people. Yeah, there could be people that are gonna laugh at your face and everything like that. That joking about you. Oh, you believe Bigfoot is real? Blah blah blah. Yes, I believe Bigfoot is real because I've seen it, and you ain't gonna convince me otherwise. You
Right,
see?
right,
And
exactly.
the thing is, because I have been ridiculed. I have been ridiculed by people from the South, from the Texas Monthly, joking about my Bigfoot experiences, and I really didn't care about it. They make me look stupid. But you know what? In the long run, and then when I find it, or when I get a real good photo of it, and when my DNA sample comes back from Canada, stating that there is an unknown primate here in South Texas running around, that's gonna be my justification, and that's what
Right.
I do when I do. And
Yeah.
otherwise, I don't care what anybody else says. Again, nobody. If anybody disagrees with what I'm saying, big deal. I really don't care. My main thing is making sure that the people know what my mission is. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the way it is. If I find some evidence, yeah, there's a few people that I was, share my information with. Daniel, you're one of them. Shaky's another one. But there's other people out there that I totally trust on my own that I could come up there and say, hey, look, this is what I got. And then, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And you all would give me y'all's opinion,
Right.
and then before
Mm-hmm.
I come up there and tell and expose it to the rest of the world.
Right.
It's always good to have people that you look up to and people that you respect. Nikki, Zach, you're the people here that I look up and I respect. Tracy Arnold's another person I respect a lot. And then the thing is, again, you want to be a researcher like these other researchers that are actually in the field learning. They're not by a book. Me personally, is me nature is the best. Yeah, I read, yeah, some stories and everything like that, other encounters. But for me personally, my information was what I get out from the woods. So, that's what I got to say about that subject. So.
Right.
Right.
Well, when you guys are talking about, people getting offended by by our honesty, I know not everyone gets offended, but there is a great deal that get either offended or get angry because they're trying, they feel like you're bashing them or attacking them. No, honesty is honesty. Honesty is. I wish I had another word for honesty. Someone who is honest is a decent person. You should, people should be more thankful that there's people that will give an honest opinion instead of just tell you what you want to hear, because that's the pollution that is happening in Bigfoot today. That people are
Oh,
following those who share information that to the ones putting it out there. They tell you what you want to hear, so you accept them. Oh, if you disagree with them or question them, they'll block you because you're not one of the ones that will say what you want to hear. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So
And let me tell you something. There are some people out there that come up there and say, I want you to prove me wrong in front of the whole world. You know what? I would prove you wrong in front of the whole world if you would give me a damn opportunity for me to show you and for you to listen to it instead of just running away. Instead of
right.
running away, because the thing is, I'm sorry to get, I'm gonna get a little bit wild up here.
Oh no, no, you're
that's
fine.
Do
Go
it.
ahead.
Do it.
Okay. No,
That's
Do
what it's for.
the thing is, it's like this. There, when they come up there and say, prove to the rest of the world that I'm wrong. Okay, show me what you got. Okay, that's a blurry picture. That don't count. That's another blurry picture. That don't count. That's another blurry picture. That don't count. If you have to zoom it in, if you have to crop it, you have to put other colors on there. You have to throw it out because you manipulating the photo. So that is not what evidence is. It's like a ghost photo. I can make a ghost photo all day long on the computer, and it's still wrong because the thing is, I'm not being honest to anybody who is a ghost hunter.
Right.
right.
Yeah, the thing is, the thing is, you come up there and go, well, they want photos of coming up there and go ta da da da. Here I am. Screw you, dude. Go up there. Oh, I can get 10 feet from them. Okay, get 10 feet from them. Get a get. Where's your damn camera? I don't see you with the camera. Get it. Show if they're 10 feet away from you, you can take a damn good picture of it. If you're 10 feet away from a rabbit, you can take a damn good picture of a rabbit. Why
Oh
can't you
yeah.
do that with this? Oh, you cannot get close to them. You cannot get close to them. Oh, because you don't know how dangerous they are. And you talking about being 10 feet away from you? Bullshit. I have to throw that bullshit flag.
Yep.
That is what being a hoaxer is all about. You
Yeah.
know,
I got evidence of me 2 feet, if that, from a deer. Yeah, I can reach out and pet a deer. Of course, there's an area here. Well, I don't know how familiar you are out this area, but there's a park up here on the parkway. You can literally walk up to the deer and almost just about pet them. That's how close you can get to them up here. Because the deer up here, yeah, they're up on the parkway. There's no hunting, so they're safe. They know that the deer and all the wildlife, they know they're untouched up there. That's why they roam freely around people too. But
yeah.
yeah, I absolutely get your point.
Yeah,
Um,
the thing is, that is what faking evidence is all about. And you have people come up there and you listen to this crap, excuse my French, and you listen to all this other stuff. And the serious researchers that are really truly out there are really getting too distracted on their work. They're concentrating upon this little peon that comes up there and thinks he's greater than God about the Bigfoot community. I'm sorry. We right now are researchers. We're totally losing focus upon what our work is.
yeah,
We talk about this certain subject all the time, and the thing is, again, we're getting distracted from it. This weekend, I'm going to go into the woods. I'm going to be having a real good old time. I'm going to be having my chaps on and everything like that. I'm going to have my 45, excuse me, my 38, and I'm going to go up there and bring my camera and just have fun, just go explore. If
hell
I
yeah,
if I see something, I see something. Shoot, I'm not gonna go over there just strictly looking for Bigfoot. I'm going to do what I do since I was small. Go down the creeks, enjoying myself, and just having some fun. So, so to me, that is my form of researching.
Yeah,
Can I say
absolutely.
something real quick?
Yeah.
Bar, I don't know how big your balls are and how they can even fit in your house, dude, but that was awesome. I'm sitting here listening to you, and she's giving you praise, bro.
Oh Lord.
See, this is the thing I like about Baldemar. Baldemar's not scared to call people out on bullshit and everything. You know, he's straightforward. He shoots from the hip, and he's accurate every single time. And that's the reason I call Baldemar my teacher, because he's a very wise man. I learned so much from him. I learned more from Baldemar than I did the other guy.
Well, he must have hangers just like they have in the back of a pickup truck off from the bottom bumper.
I got 3 hangers in the back of my truck.
What, you got them on your truck?
No, I don't have those things hanging back there. Just a different section of different size of balls between different trailers and stuff.
Oh, okay.
That's what I meant by that. I don't have nothing like that hanging down my truck. I don't do that kind of stuff. I do have a sign. I have a sign in the back of my truck that says "I love my chupacabra" on it, and I have a Bigfoot research sticker in back of my window.
Oh
So
That's pretty
man.
cool.
Read
yeah,
that comment, Zach.
Let's. Is it the one right below B's?
Yes.
Okay. But if there is no DNA proof so far, in quotations from the U.S. government, unquote, how can any of us say what might or might not be Bigfoot, or say definitively what someone has as their evidence is real or not?
see, that is why I take my research not to the United States. That's why I take my research to Canada.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, here's the other thing. Sometimes it's good to know certain people, and I'm blessed that I do. That's why some of the information I have, I'm not at liberty to share some of the information because of who I'm associated with, and you know. But here's the thing: it's great to know. It's great to get on the inside with certain people and have connections with certain people and know what they have the available sources to. Push comes to shove, whatever the results come back as, hey, I may not even share it at all if it comes back as what I would love it to come back as. I don't know if I would ever share it. But to go along with that question, as far as how could we know if it's Bigfoot or not, well, I believe it's safe to say that regardless, there is Bigfoot here in the United States. I know he's here. You know, I've have I've had enough experiences plus my encounters, and I found enough what I believe to my own evidence that convinces me, of what's out there. So, but as far as the miscellaneous stuff, all the miscellaneous things that we find that, like I was talking about earlier, we can't assume Bigfoot's responsible. We can't assume it's always Bigfoot. And one thing I state a lot, and I say it quite a bit, when we're trying to debunk something, when we're trying to look at a situation, Bigfoot should always be the last consideration, our last conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
you have to know about DNA, okay? DNA was in its infancy in the 80s and 90s. Okay? It wasn't until the Genome Project in 2006 when they started to try to get any type of sequencing out of Neanderthal. Okay?
Neanderthal, yep.
So, yeah, we did not have that sequence until well, they were finding it through that project starting in 2006. It did not get published. That means it did not go through its peer review and passed until, what was it, 2012 or 2013?
Yep, 2012.
One,
2012.
yeah. Okay. So we did not have that information until then. You have to research that, okay?
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen,
It just didn't happen. It wasn't there. The science wasn't there yet.
absolutely.
You can't make that up.
Yeah, I hope everybody listened to what Nikki just said. I could contest for everything she just said. She spoke truthfully and honestly, and that's a fact. The research, the evidence, and the proof, and the source is available. Look up the Neanderthal Genome Project. I'll repeat that one more time. The Neanderthal Genome Project. You'll learn everything right there. You want to go dig deeper? You guys want to learn deeper about when forensics? 1985 and 86 is when forensics first got developed. Okay, when DNA forensic testing first developed back in 1985 and 86. Then look into the, as far as other DNA, the closest thing we have to Bigfoot, what people like to associate Neanderthal to possible Bigfoot, that's why Nikki brought that up. So if you guys want to know about, if you guys believe Bigfoot could be any bit of Neanderthal, we don't have that information. That has never been proven or tested because, as far as, there's DNA for Neanderthal, yes. But as Nikki stated, that did not happen until 2006, and then in the later parts of, of 2000, as far as the 2012, 2013 area. So
it wasn't made public until the 2012. Yeah. The Genome Project started in 2006, but it took that long to get that sequencing.
Yep, 6 years.
If you go and you look on the Smithsonian Institute, it's under humanorigins.si.edu. Neanderthal mitochondrial and nuclear DNA, the first analysis of any Neanderthal DNA was in 1997. It's the first fossil hominid species discovered by scientists and discovered in 1856, and is believed to be a common ancestor of modern human.
Believed to be, yes.
Now, down in Canada, and don't quote me on this, but I want to say it was something called like snowshoe, and it was do you know what I'm talking about?
It sounds very familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, dealing with there was a cabin out there. I don't one or two cabins out there, and they would find these big old footprints on the cabin right in front of their door, and every time that they would come out, leave, they would always find this evidence of these big old footprints around their camp, and they would hear stuff rock throwing on their cabin and everything like that. So what they actually did was they actually got this board, and they actually put these screws in the bottom of it.
Oh, yeah.
And that was up in Alaska. Yep.
Was it Alaska or was it in Canada?
It was Alaska.
Alaska?
Yep. Dr. Jeff Meldrum was part of that project, the investigation.
Yeah, that was up on Vancouver Island, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, and Sarmiento too, wasn't he?
I believe he may have been involved.
Yeah, the primatologist. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. And so they actually got some samples from that because because some of the samples was contaminated because of the nails.
Yeah, the rust.
Oh, the rust.
Correct.
The rust.
And then they went up there and they did something and they cleaned it up even. They did something and they cleaned it up even more, and then they actually found some DNA samples from that.
I thought it all came back as bear. I don't know.
Well, here's the other thing. If that was the case, if they said they came back as bear, I honestly believe they're covering something up on that, or they don't want the public to know. Because the one thing I do recall them showing, they showed the blood outline of the foot.
Exactly.
That was no bear. Yeah. I know they do have big monster bears up there. Don't get me wrong. I know they have big bears, but that shape of that foot was not bear.
Yeah, grizzly up there.
Yeah. I mean, they got bears that stand over 7-8 feet tall. If not bigger, but that was no barefoot track. I believe that was definitely a Squatch track. If that was for what they showed on TV, if that was real.
I agree with you with the nail board and everything. I mean, some people would say it's a bear step on that nail bed. Oh, but what bear in their right mind is going to go and double step on a nail bed? Put one foot down and then step in that other one. I mean, any animal learns from its mistakes. I've seen it with dogs. I've seen it with cattle. I've seen it with birds. I've seen snakes. If something happens and they experience some kind of pain that registers great pain, they won't go near it again.
Yep. Well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So that's just in my pure logical opinion that could have been bear stepping onto that nail board.
Yeah. Well, like you said, yeah, that would be impossible for it to have a double step on a nail board because it's like me. I'm stepping here. Oh, that hurts like hell. Hey, let me bring my other foot up on and try it. Oh, it still hurts like I'm buried that stupid.
It's like my mom says, if you sit your ass down on a hot, you want to do it again? No. Just for the sensation. Think not.
Well, it's like a young child. Everybody has their own methods of teaching their children. When Brianna was just a baby, when she was just learning, she wasn't a baby. As she was starting to become a toddler, we try to teach her, teach her the word hot and teach her to understand what hot means. Very carefully, we used to grab her hand and bring it close to something that was heated and where she feels just the heat and teach her that's hot, it's teaching the children that. And then, of course, it becomes natural nature to them as later on, So.
Damn, I wish my folks was better than that. A 200-pound television on top of a TV tray. My granddad said, let him pull it on a couple times. He'll learn.
Just out of curiosity, we have anything on the live chat? Any questions?
Here. Dinobot says, I don't think that Bigfoot is any modern human or other human species. From what I've seen and heard, their behavior / lifestyle is too primitive and animalistic to be what we know humans to act like or other human species. Then there was another one. It was a question that we just got done talking about, but Jerkins cleared it up. It was about the nail board.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. But Dinobot, yeah, I like that statement. I like how he worded that, too.
For a 16-year-old, he's right whenever it comes to this subject, too.
Wait, Dinobot is 16?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes,
you sure you were talking? Oh, I thought
he said that on my live chat.
I didn't know that. I didn't know he was 16. I thought he was an older gentleman.
Daniel, not everybody that's got a YouTube channel is over 20 years old.
Well, I know we had a couple other. I know we had Johnny Bradley. He's 13, and then the Keegan's
Brown.
13. Yeah, and okay, I thought. Yeah, Dinobot 65. Yeah, that's Reed Norman. Okay. Huh. But yeah, the way he worded that, I like the way he worded that. That's pretty good. So.
The other day, I got to tell you something about the one of my best things ever, and this is the way that you know when you're doing your job. I was checking out cattle, and I saw two cars parked right beside the Old Normanna Bridge, and so I'm making my turn, going real slow, and I hear these kids calling my name. Hey, Baldy, is that you? I said, yeah, it's me. He goes, come on over here. And so he goes, come and talk to us for a little bit. And so I went up there and started talking to them and everything like that. And they wanted to know stories about Bigfoot, about the encounters that people actually had and the encounters that people had in the bridge. And I told him like this. So he goes, man, there have been over 77 reports of stories that I know of Bigfoot on this bridge. And I'm hoping that one of these days that y'all would be my 78. If y'all want to stay out here in this bridge, The rules are: don't be drinking on this bridge, don't be smoking no weed, don't be clear, and make sure that you have an escape route. He goes, make sure that nobody falls apart. Everybody has lights and everything like that when you come out here. Call the sheriff department and let them know that you're going to be coming out here because you're going to be having a visit from the county police. If you follow these rules and everything like that, and I'm pretty sure that one of these days you're going to have an encounter on this bridge.
Yeah,
these little kids were amazed by that. So
that's awesome.
it's pretty awesome when you just out in blue, just driving around your pickup truck, and here comes these kids, don't even know them from Adam, come up there and say, hey. So I thought that was fantastic.
Sweet.
Dinobot Daniel, he said, I feel like Daniel is now disappointed to find out that I'm only a teenager.
No. I'm not. I think no. Let me tell you something. That's very exciting. That's encouraging.
It is. Guys,
we are having more and more youth and younger people tuning in and listening, asking questions. Because Dinobot, from seeing your questions in the past, you're full of questions and curiosity, and that's awesome. You got that tells me your curiosity and the type of questions you asked that I recall from on my YouTube channel on our other podcast. You're smart. For you to come up with the questions and the curious questions that you come up with, I can tell you got some intelligence, and that's good because you want to know. You got a lot of room in that brain to fill in more information, and that's what you're about. And I like that.
Yeah, I love that. Great.
So no,
he said, "I'm your guy," and then John says, "You keep him straight, rookie."
Hey, somebody has to.
There ain't no shame being a rookie. I was a rookie about 4 years ago when I went public. I'm still green behind the ears, or wet behind the ears.
Hell, you think that's bad? I had a second grader tell me that I don't know how to spell.
Kids say the darndest things.
Yeah, I mean, out of the mouths of babes. Come on, I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to.
That's funny.
Kid. My penmanship is terrible. I'm the first one to tell you that. I don't write very neatly. I only write neatly when I have to.
Yeah.
Having a little kid come up there to remind you, hey, you need to learn how to spell a little bit. Make sure that you know how to write a little bit better because people ain't seeing what you're writing. That's not an R. That's not an I. This is the way you do an I. All right. Yeah.
Well, lately I feel like I've been getting a lot of practice writing and stuff. Because at work, I deal with paperwork all the time. I'm always signing something, filling something out, and then when I have my spare time, I'm always jotting something down, making my own notes for topics to discuss, research or whatever it is. I always got something on my mind when in my free time. So I'm always writing something down because I don't want to. I want to something I might want to share later or use in in certain context. But so yeah, I'm always writing, always signing my name too on stuff.
Carolina Cryptid Kruse and you, Daniel. He says Daniel isn't disappointed; he's jealous because he's old. LOL.
Well, hey. Wait. He's saying I'm jealous?
He's saying you're jealous of Dinah because he's young and you're old.
Yeah, well, hey, call me old because that's good because I'm always told that I'm young. I'm always told that I'm a baby.
No, you're a baby. You look like a child when you shave your face.
By the way, Carolina Cryptid Crew, that's Melissa George, I believe.
Yep.
Great to have you on here. I'm glad you got to tune in. So, yeah, Melissa George, and I believe it was her daughter. But I forget how long ago, a few years ago, we had them on our podcast show as a guest. So, Yeah, they had actually shared a lot of information and a lot of some awesome stories. So,
But
yeah, if you guys want to check out their encounter, I'll have to share the link later. It's on my YouTube channel. It's somewhere down, and I got tons of videos on there and podcast shows. So,
okay. Sam DeLoach is watching. He says, Daniel, talk about the video that I sent you earlier from the Ural Mountains in Russia, the Almasty.
yeah, I did not. Wait, yeah, I don't know if that's something I've seen before or what, but I didn't watch that video. He sent that to me when I was driving. I was on the road earlier, so I didn't get to watch that yet. So,
Baldemar, you got any more updates on the little mission that you got going on?
No, not really. Another calf was born the other day, and so there was basically after the attack, two baby calves were born, and nothing happened to them. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to have like I said, tomorrow morning I'm going to have a look in the woods tomorrow, and but I'm going to probably leave real early in the morning, maybe like around 4 or 5, and just to get settled, and then everything gets settled, and then get my listening devices and everything like that, and actually see what's going on out there. So
now I don't know if we've asked this before, but around where the cattle are, is there cameras set up around there? Game cameras, maybe?
I basically had some there. I mean, Daniel, I mean, there was actually elk there, like in the 1980s. There was actually like around a few elk out there. They actually got out, I mean, you have exotic animals going up and down these creeks. We just don't know what escapes out there.
Right.
Yeah, so again, it comes down again is that vocalizations. If it's one of the exotic animals that come out, I don't know how they bellow. I don't know how they yell. I don't know how they scream. I don't know what they do.
Yeah.
So again, it's like there's sometimes it's also too like when you're paranormal hunting and stuff like that, and something would interfere when your listening devices, everything like that is noises that would distract or your recorder, and then you have to eliminate everything because it just doesn't fit because you already know what it is.
Right.
Yeah, so it's dealing with we even have they even have stories out here that there's some wild monkeys that have been seen in Normanna area and also in B County as well. So I have to take that into consideration. Even though that I don't see them there, I know that people have seen them there in this certain year and this certain time. So I have to be as it's basically I have to adjust within my elements. Is this a regular monkey yell or is this a Bigfoot or again I just have to make sure exactly what I have.
Baldemar, you might be interested in knowing this information. Many years ago, at some point, small monkeys were actually native to the state of Texas.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know that, but doing some of my past research, that's one of the things I recall because there was fossilized. They found monkey fossils, bone skeletons that belong to monkeys that once happened. Yep.
Now,
here's another thing. Think about up in Alaska. Excuse me, not Alaska. What's a mole up there in Antarctica? Somewhere up there where it's real cold. I can't remember the exact location. It might either be somewhere up there. They've actually found evidence of palm trees. These are tropical things. Yeah, in these very cold climates. But so it's believed that a lot of primates once inhabited and existed here in the United States, or I should say North America, this continent, because they believe before the land masses spread, for those who believe in the flood of this in the Bible, a lot of land formations developed and spread apart, and then also they talk about different tropical animals may have floated over on tropical plants that floated. There was floating islands and stuff that, where a lot of these tropical animals made their way over here. I mean, and it's pretty evident that we have tropical plants and exotic looking things here in the country. Like, look at Florida, for example, and so forth. But yeah, if anyone does enough research and reading, I like to say reading, I just do enough digging, you'll be surprised the information and the knowledge that you've actually come across. But I was actually blown away when I first found that information. I was like, Texas? Wow.
Now, also, too, there was actually camels out here. That they
I can believe that.
And that they actually found teeth to that. And even hippopotamus bones that were actually found out here. So, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they're still finding now, down these creeks and everything. That's one thing. That's the only reason why I love going down the creeks. I already found 2 dinosaurs already going down these creeks.
I believe it.
Yeah. So the thing is, again, Daniel, you just never know. Again, you could probably be sitting down there, and right beside you, maybe 10, 15 yards from you, there's going to be a bone sticking out of there. And then sure enough, you go to your truck and you get your little shovel and you start digging around there to figure out what it is. If you don't know what it is, you go down over there and you call up a college or something like that. Come down over here, check out this bone, and let me know what you think.
Right.
See, again, it's researching. Even though that you don't know what kind of species it is, you know who to find to get that info, who could help you get that information.
Right.
And that is why it's very important for us to researchers like our panel here, and Sam and all these other people listening, learning their facts and getting their story straight. Because a person who just found evidence of Bigfoot, who are they going to contact? Who are they going to call? He's going to have to find somebody that he knows about and who he could talk to, who's not going to make sure that he's a fool.
I think here's another piece of information that people should consider. Other possibilities. Now, we know for a fact, due to science doing their work and provided the evidence that and putting the fossilizations together, that Gigantopithecus, a 10 to 12 foot tall giant primate, once existed. And then, of course, they will find more in Asia and so forth. And but look at here in North America, Michigan, Canada, we have woolly mammoths that are being unearthed. Their skeletal remains are being dug up and found. T-Rex was just recently found in Canada. So, that's awesome stuff. And we have other evidence out in the Midwest or out further west where we have fossilized footprints that belong to other dinosaurs, like raptors, for example, raptor type dinosaurs. So if these animals, I call them animals, but dinosaurs that existed back during the Prehistoric, the Pleistocene era, these are things that we should consider. That what if there's other animals, that are very rare, that remain hidden, elusive, like, for example, and I'm kind of getting that Bigfoot with this one, and I know people don't want to hear it, because I once used to believe that Gigantopithecus and Bigfoot were related. Now, that may not even be true at all, but what if through the ages and the times where there was an adaptation or there's a subspecies of Gigantopithecus that we recognize as Bigfoot today? That could be a possibility. I'm not stating that is or is not, but that could be something to consider or think about. And I know, in my opinion, I believe, Bigfoot is some type of primate. And for those who believe he is a human, well, then we still have to say he's still a primate, because according to science, us as humans, we're human primates. Chimpanzees, gorillas, bonobos, orangutans, those are non-human primates. So so in my honest opinion, as I stated, I do believe that Bigfoot is a unknown or unclassified type of primate or type, some type of ape. Because again, we're considered apes too. So within the great ape family. So I know there's all those different times. I don't get into the relic hominid stuff, talking this and that, but so I don't know. There's just a lot to consider and a lot to think about, with those little things. Got to think about what we did know that exist and think about the possibilities that could, the subspecies that could branch off and, that have become adapted over a period of time to survive in our climates, because most of your primates, they live in a warm climate. North America is considered a very cold climate, but like a lot of other species, they learn and come to adapt and survive. But I don't know. That's my little rambling for now. Anything more on the live chat?
Let's. Carolina Cryptid Crew, thoughts on Bigfoot poop? Jim Jerkins says it stinks.
Bigfoot poop. Well, I do believe that it could possibly look like ours. I mean, I think it's safe to say it would look identical or similar to ours in some form. I mean, that's my opinion. If Bigfoot is a type of human primate of some sort, if he is a primate, I do believe, their feces have got to look like primate, either ours or non-human primates. So.
For me, it's a shot in the dark. Because if I find some kind of stool samples and everything like that, and I don't know what it is, I see sometimes I would see it all the time with a whole bunch of hair in it, whole bunch of hog hairs in it, and all different kinds of hair in it, rabbit hair and everything like that. And I'm looking at it, here's a stool sample of Bigfoot. Yeah, I got it right down here. The majority of the time it's going to be a coyote anyway, because that's what's in his diet. It's just just like just like if you see, I've seen some hogs, even hogs, they'll come up there and they'll attack or they'll eat different animals. They would eat coyotes, even if the coyotes are dead. They'll come up back there and they would eat them.
Yeah.
So, and that would be in their stool. And Lord and behold, here's a stool that you haven't seen before. Lord and behold, it has hair and it's massive and large. Again, it has to be a primate. No, it's not. It's going to be a hog or something else. There would be times when I would sometimes get stool samples and actually put them in water and mixing them up and put them up there to see actually what is what's been what has been eating and stuff like that. And the majority of the time is basically your standard coyote or your hog or even as far as your raccoons. There's sometimes I test a little bit of stool samples here because that's the way it was taught, to look at it. Evidence also with your hair samples, is always good to send some of your hair samples. Just don't send them all.
Absolutely.
Because, let's say for example you found 6 hair samples. Got 6 hair samples. Keep 3 and send your other 3, because if you send your 6, Lord and behold, it comes out to be something unknown, and then you have nothing left.
Yeah, nothing to compare when you find future hair.
Exactly. So
I have my collection of hair. I mean, as far as bear hair, I got 2 different samples of bear hair I have here at home, and you know what? Bear hair. It looks some of the fibers of hair I have from bear look just like human, because it's just the strands. It's soft. It's some of it's got brown in it, white, blonde, like a blondish color. and the most of it's black. Because we got black bears here, but people don't realize that black bears have other colors in them too. You know, um, one thing. Oh, one thing I want to make mention too. You mentioned hogs, talking about the poop. I have seen hogs get hog poop that some of it, resembles almost human looking poop too.
Oh yeah.
Because we used to raise hogs every year. We used to raise two pigs every year, from piglets to the time they got full grown. We used to slaughter them for the meat. So, but yeah, we used to raise hogs. I used to go help dad when I was little. Feed them and stuff. But so yeah, I'm very familiar with what hog poop looks like. So, but that's something else to be careful too, especially in Carolina, especially North and South Carolina. There's hogs down there, so that's something to consider. Yeah, I know a lot of them are more known down on the eastern shores in certain areas because I know there's people that go hunting down on some of the beaches down there. So, uh, Nikki, you're quiet.
Carolina Cryptid Crew just
I
asked a pretty good question.
All right.
I was just gonna
Well,
say I'm
Hey, Nikki.
distracted a little bit by some stupid video right now. So
oh,
Oh, but I hear it.
I think I can hear it in the background.
yeah.
But anyway,
Bunch of more
here's the
lies,
question.
lies. Sorry.
No, it's fine. But here's the question: what if there is no hair in the poop with no animal prints around to help identify?
Well, the thing is, it could be a number of things. If there's no track to identify the subject, it means that apparently if there was track, if the ground's not soft enough, or if it is soft enough to leave tracks.
We're speaking right now.
Hi, Fred. We hear you. We love you.
I'm on fire. Yeah, so I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. Might be back after a while. Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you. He lied to the world when he said he was gonna make a video and apologize. He made a rant video sometime in the last day or two, and deleted it like he normally does. He's scared.
Okay, I'm gonna put Nikki.
Hey,
we're gonna put into this bullshit right now.
I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna say something real quick. I'm gonna say something here real quick. And I am a Native American Indian. I have ancestry all the way down. And then there's some stuff I can say on this program and things that I can't. There's some times when it comes to teaching about the old ways and I don't know what's that saying that he always talks about. He's what's that old style that he teaches?
Native, ancient
Cherokee.
dialect.
Ancient. There's no such thing. There's no such thing. He could come up there and change Native American history. He can't change Native American history because there is no such thing as ancient language. No such thing. I'm sorry if he could talk all day long about it, and he could talk to all these lies to all these other people, and there's no such thing as that. Period. End of discussion. If he thinks he could go over my head when it comes to the subject, he's full of shit, and there's something coming to him. And second, and Native Americans have been going on wars with so many people that came to this country, like in the 1600s, and they ended in and the last Indian wars ended maybe like in 1924, I believe it was. That was the very last time that there was ever an Indian war. And so many millions and millions and millions of Native American Indians that were actually killed and slaughtered here in this nation. Andrew Jackson came up there and did the removal act of the Indians, which basically became your Trail of Tears. A lot of the history and everything like that disappeared and gone. Disappeared and gone. The elders, a lot of the elders, gone. A lot of the history, gone. And he comes up there and says that he has all this evidence from this Native American blah, blah, blah is full of crap. I said it. If he don't like it, he better learn to love it because that is the truth. And let me tell you one thing. I have a lot of friends in Virginia. I've been a head dancer in Virginia for the Indians up there, and they know me, and they know what kind of person I am. And that piece of crap want to fuck with me. Let me tell you one thing. He has another thing coming to him because
Baldemar.
nobody. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for cussing.
No. Hey, it's free speech on. We don't censor anything. It's the reason we call it Raw and Uncensored. We are being us.
Okay.
You say what you got to say, dude. This is your platform.
And the thing is, everybody, is that people cannot come up there and change Native American history because they want to. They cannot change Native American history just to put their collars up to show off. I don't show off. I have spoken to over 500,000 people teaching them about Native American history. I have been in the Saipan. I was been in the Iwo Jima. I have been everywhere, the Enterprise, doing programs, the USS San Antonio, doing programs for Native American history on that. And I'm sorry, I am very respected in the Native American community. And nobody like Fred, who the hell do you think he is? Just somebody who wants to show off. He thinks he knows history. He don't. He don't know my history. Like I said, if he don't like it, he better learn to love it. Because let me tell you one thing, he do not want to go one-on-one with me. Second, dealing with the Bigfoot story, all his evidence that he has, he ain't got crap. He ain't got shit. And he knows it. Because the thing is, again, dealing with that, if you have all these blurry pictures that you have, Fred, and everything like that, and even those little Bigfoot prints that you have, which are nothing but possum tracks, I'm sorry. They are possum tracks. You take them to a scientist, he'll tell you it's a possum trap. Sorry, end of discussion. And Fred, if you don't like it, if you call this bashing, it's not bashing, bud. That's the way it is. If you don't like it, learn to love it.
And there you go, folks. It's a cold, hard truth right there. Suck it.
Now, I want to hear his response on that.
I agree. Who to know better about American history and language than other than an American like Baldemar? I mean, Baldemar's a very, very wise man. He knows his shit. I take him at his word and everything because Baldemar, in the 2 years that I've known him now, I've never at least think he's never lied to me once. And why would he have anything to lie? He has nothing to gain and a lot to lose.
And
I'm going to show you. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, before you go on, one thing I want to make a statement of real quick, and I know Baldemar will agree with me. Wait, he step away for a second. All right. I grew up here in Virginia. I was 11 years old when I first moved here, and you know what? Between the Civil War and other history, history for some reason grew on me. I loved history. It was one of my favorite subjects in high school, and all throughout school. But one thing right here in the state of Virginia, we have there's several locations here that are named after the known tribes that existed here, and they still do. A lot of them still do. And Baldemar will tell you this. But I know for a fact because I went to school with the people that were, that are related to their ancestors were named after the locations here in the state of Virginia. I'll name a few: the Massaponax, Mattaponi, the Pamunkey, and there's the Appomattox, and there's so many more. There's many tribes of different Native Americans that existed here in Virginia alone. And like I said, there's numerous more I can name. When it comes to Cherokee's only settled here for a very short period of time. If you read and do your homework, especially here in the Shenandoah Valley, yeah, there were different armies and war, people that was passing through here. There was a small camp, there was a small settlement of Cherokee. They did not last here long. They did not stay here long enough to really make a name for themselves here. But it is stated in Virginia. Baldemar, I was just making a statement, and talking about there's numerous Indian tribes that existed here in Virginia, and some of them still do. I guess as far as different tribes, they're different groups and organizations.
Sure.
And the thing is, now correct me if I'm wrong, because this is something I read. Now, as far as Cherokee goes, Cherokees, they only existed here for a very short period of time, as I mentioned earlier.
Oh, that's incorrect.
Okay, now
because the thing is, again, dealing with the walk of the Trail of Tears.
Yeah,
they actually, a lot of them actually escaped at night, and so they actually went to the state of Virginia and everything like that. So they basically escaped, just to get away from this long walk.
Now, how long did they stay here? Did they settle here?
There still has been a lot of descendants of the Cherokee that's actually here. There's a big group there's actually a big group of Cherokee people here. And then I come up there and actually said, "Are you talk to Mr. Caney?" And he goes, "Are you from the Eastern Band and the Western Band?" There's two different bands. I never got an answer. So,
well, the one thing I read about the Cherokees Indians, well, here in the Shenandoah Valley where I'm at, now Shenandoah, I believe that's an Indian name. I could be wrong, but it sounds like it could be an Indian name. But I was reading some history on Native Americans here in the Shenandoah, and when I come across the literature I came across, where it made it sound as if the Cherokee they settled here, but it didn't sound like it was long. I mean, that's probably just the valley alone. I mean, they could have been in other locations, but that's just for the valley here.
Right.
And of course, Shenandoah Valley. This is the western part of Virginia. We're west of the Blue Ridge. So
see, and if when people fail to understand, and I'm going to teach you all something here about Cherokee, and it's not my nation, but this is what some elders told me who were actually Cherokees. They were saying, "Oh, my grandma was a Cherokee princess." They would always say that. But the thing is, again, the only ones that have princesses were kings and queens, and the Native American Indians never had a king, never had a queen. You see, and that's the kind of history. If somebody wants to learn and teach the history, it comes out to know about the facts about the history. See, it just like squaw. Squaw is a native word. It not means an Indian woman. It actually means a whore. So people have been, thinking that a Native American woman is a squaw. No, she's not.
wow.
So the thing is, again, history. That's the kind of stuff that we need to be teaching, and and that's the truth. Nobody can deny that because that's the way it is. So, but also, a lot of because the Native American people have been, we have been in war. Native American people the Indian wars have been fought, longer than the Vietnam War, longer than all the American wars that they ever fought in other countries. For us, we've actually fought the French, the Spanish, the Mexicans. We fought so many different people that were after us. Some of them even befriended us and then actually turned their backs on us. See, that's a part of history that we need to teach and learn about. Nobody talks about it, and it comes to us, or Kit Carson's Long Walk, and look at what happened to the Navajo, a lot of stories like that nobody's told about. Look at here what happened down over here in Standing Rock when all the nations got together. We never saw that on TV, really saw that on TV. It was actually shown on Facebook, and a lot of stuff, information that was given out, was basically blocked, basically. But the thing is, again, we're a nation of people that we're a real, very proud people, and we just basically try to teach and educate the public as best as possibly can. We don't candy coat nothing. We just tell it the way it is. Again, if you don't like it, I'm sorry. That's the way it was.
Right. What do you know about the Iroquois Indians? Do you know anything about them?
Not too much about the Iroquois. If Lily was here, she would let you know, because I'm the very first person that would tell you if I do not know something about a certain subject about Native American Indians, I will definitely find someone who will give you that answer.
Okay, well that's cool. No, next time we get on here and she's there, I definitely like to know what she knows because the only reason I'm asking is because I've always known that from my father's side we had the Micmac, and my father it wasn't that long ago he found out that and had it confirmed by his aunt that we also have Iroquois in us too, down in the bloodline from his side of the family. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. See, and also too, do you try doing your DNAs? Try doing your DNA, and if you come up there and you find some cousins that you never had known that you had, and trying to figure out how you all were related. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
because I mean, I know my mom did hers. Of course, come to find out, I don't know what side of the family, or it might have been her mother's side or whatever, but I know she had someone in her family, her relatives, was in the Civil War. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool, So, but yeah, I've always thought about trying that. So, but what if I don't know. I guess that depends on how they keep record and how far back they can trace that information. But that would be good to hear.
See, and
how far back
Daniel,
they can
also
trace
too
stuff.
that you have to realize, and I also understand too, in 1910s, 1920s, they were still looking for Indians to hang, and there's sometimes a lot of people actually went to be in the census turned out to be what are you? Are you Spanish? You're Mexican? What are you? Because nobody wanted to be Native American Indian because that was taboo. I don't mean to sound racist or anything like that here in your show, but there's some times that we actually got caught being next to a black category, and dealing with our birth certificates. There was two things, black or white. You see, and it was that's the part of history that nobody talks about. So again, it's dealing is because there's sometimes that you would find information on a family Bible. There's sometimes that they'll come up there and they'll write stuff down on somebody out there should have a Bible or something like that. That's where a lot of information was kept a lot of the times.
So. Yeah, that's good information. I see we got Sam Deloach with us.
Yeah, I was about ready to say I muted him because his back was interfering with what Baldemar was saying, because Baldemar was saying a lot of good shit and everything. But we got with us now the man behind the solo Squatcher. If I could get him unmuted. Let's see. Oh, that gummit.
You'll have to open. If you muted him, you'll have to go to your toolbar.
I'm in the control room.
Oh, okay.
Well, every time I go to unmute him, it takes his audio all the way back. Sam, you have to unmute yourself, Bubba.
Well, if you click there's that lever bar with the audio, you can move that too.
Sam, you there?
No, he's still muted. Oh, there you go.
I'm here. You guys doing okay?
Doing good, Sam.
Surviving.
Are you driving, Sam?
Yeah, I'm up here near the Bristol Motor Speedway.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
So what's new with you, my man?
Well, I'm going to go back to the comment that I made earlier about about that video that I found. I thought that was interesting. I'm pretty sure probably Nikki has seen it before because she's seen, she does used to do a lot of those videos with those guys on that fake or real, whatever it was. But it's from the Ural Mountains, and this creature jumps like almost like a chimpanzee, but big.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it runs. It's very realistic looking. It looks like a big old ape running.
Yeah, and
long
just
arms.
Very long arms, and we watched it over and over today at work, and we thought it was a really good video. That's one of the better ones that I've seen. But yeah, that's one everybody needs to watch. I don't know the label of it.
Yeah, I got it on my timeline. I haven't watched it yet, but it sounds very interesting.
I
Yeah,
have
very.
to rewatch it. I have to
Do what?
rewatch it because I don't know if that's the one that we see the dog. Is there a dog in the picture?
Yes. Yeah, there's a dog that's there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the one that I thought was fake because of that dog's non-reaction.
Oh,
Right.
you talking about the one? It looks like somebody's filming. There's a road, and they're by their house. And no.
There's no road. No road.
No, it's just two kids.
Oh, then I don't know. Okay, I don't know that one then.
Yeah, it's
Are you talking about the one that the Bob investigated?
I don't know about all that, but I think it's a good video.
No, he was nicknamed Bigfoot in the boxing world, and he was like running for like governor or something there in Russia, and he got onto the kids for
no. That's a little bit different one too. That's that's the one where they're walking across that like snowy field. This is not snow. This is in the Ural Mountains of Russia. Almost looks like the Pacific Northwest in the video. It really does. I mean, it's the landscape is just like it. Almost like up here where we live too, Daniel. You know how it gets in the summertime with all the moss and
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But other than that, we're going to go to the race tomorrow and give it a rest this weekend on going to the mountains. So, but I just figured I'd join in and just listen to you guys more than anything. Thought I might pop in if I need to say something.
So you're not doing no Hot Wheel sales this weekend?
Nah, probably not.
Yeah.
Well,
that's cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
You're always welcome on my show, dude.
You're awesome.
You're more than welcome, dude.
Thank you very much, Zach. I appreciate it. No, I'll kick back and listen to you guys.
Well, you're one of my buddies and everything. You're always welcome, dude.
Well, if you have any questions or if you have anything you want to say, feel free to jump on or unmute yourself.
Sam, did you get to hear Baldemar's classic rant?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you're gonna have to go back and listen to Baldemar.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll hear some backlash on that one.
Baldemar put it on the line there.
I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, guys. It's been bothering me. It's been in my cuts and stuff like that, and I'm just I had a rough day at work today, and I said, you know what? And then when I found out that y'all were going to do the show today, and I said, you know what? I'm going to speak my mind today and let you really know how I feel about some certain individual. You know what, guys? I know I love eating apple pies. Let me tell you. You know what? And I know. I sure in the hell knows what it's supposed to taste like. I don't know how to make it, but I sure know how it's supposed to taste like. So,
right.
That's good.
So. It was I was having my granddad listen to some of the stuff they said the other day. My granddad's on everything. My grandma, she's a complete non-believer. And they're sitting there listening to them. And they're like, they're crazy. I told them, I said, yeah, and they go and they try to cover it up. And my granddad said, well, just spray perfume on dog shit doesn't mean it ain't going to stink after a while. That's a 79-year-old coal miner right there. That's also a 32nd degree Scottish Rite Freemason.
Wow.
That had never had a college education. He's a high school graduate, first generation high school graduate in my family, and my he's a very, very smart man, and what stuff he doesn't know, he comes and asks me and finds something that's something he thinks that I might be interested in. He comes and he shows it to me, and the other day, him and me went to go check my cameras. I was showing him where they was all at. And we pulled the chips from them and didn't much, just cattle and deer on the cameras. We hiked up the trail to where that big structure that I found about 2 months ago, and he goes, "What in the hell?" And I said, "Yeah, that's what I said when I first saw it." He goes, "What did that?" And he started getting up there, and my granddad with his hands on the timbers in that big structure, the same structure I showed Daniel, where I was standing inside of it.
Oh yeah.
And he was trying to budge some of them timbers out of there. And my granddad's as strong as an ox. He's stronger than me. For 79 years old, my granddad stays in shape. He couldn't even budge them.
Wow.
Wow.
And I mean, I've seen that man make him put 200 pounds worth of feed sacks on his back and run with them. That's how strong my granddad is. He
They don't
couldn't
make
even
like
budge
that
him.
anymore.
Yeah.
No, especially for someone like him. He's my granddad's youngest out of 4 brothers. There was Charles, Fred, William Henry, and James Arthur. Then my granddad Franklin D, where I get my names from, D. And I'll just a little bit of family history. Great grandpa Henry fought in World War I and was cast in France. Charles served in World War and fought in Germany. Uncle Bill, William Henry, he fought in the Korean War. Never went. My granddad would have enlisted, but he had grandma and my mother to take care of, but he would have gone in the Air Force. And my granddad, whenever he was going to go into college and everything, but they didn't have the money for him to go, he was actually going to go into aeronautics. And he still can tell you a whole lot about aeronautics. He's very, very passionate about that. And besides being farming, passionate about hunting and fishing. My granddad, like Baldemar, is a very wise man, and he knows a lot for someone that you think wouldn't know their ass from a hole in the ground. No offense, Baldemar. But it's usually these people that look so out of the ordinary that are really quiet and everything that are usually some of the most intelligent people you'll ever meet. And but anyway, getting back to saying, they were sitting there listening to Fred and Connie go back and everything, and my granddad, who says some of the darndest thing, he says these are crazy. His own words.
Lil says the same thing. He goes, Lil makes. See, that's the way you get the Indian name sometimes. For Lil, Fred will always be the crazy man. And that's the way that people get their names from. Is the silly things that they do. If I talk from now this day forward, if I talk about the crazy man, you know who it is. So
my granddad, I was telling him about what you was telling us about giving Indian names. My granddad says, "Well, I got an Indian name for Fred, and it's dumbass."
Yeah.
That's coming from my grandpa. If Fred, if you're watching, take it out on my granddad. Don't take it out on me. I'm just don't shoot.
Whoa.
Hey, I do have some interesting news.
What's that?
Uh-oh.
What you got?
All right. So yesterday at work, we had this customer come in, and he had a shirt on that said "Hide and Seek Champion." So, my boss was like, "Go ahead and ask him. Go ahead and ask him." So I was like, "Hey, you like Bigfoot and stuff?" He's like, "Well," and he just gave me that look like, if I tell you, you're gonna, not believe me or whatever. And I was like, "Did something happen to you?" And he was like, "Yeah, man. It was on the Appalachian Trail, which is down here in what's called Greene County. It's kind of below where I live." And he said, I love to hike. And he said, I came across this one print, and it was going from left to right, but it was just, the right foot was it. And he said, and it was all leaves and stuff, so of course there wasn't any other prints that I could, take pictures of. But yeah, I thought that was interesting, just out of the blue. kind of the type of thing with you and the kids, Baldemar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Well, guys, it's coming up. We're on the 2-hour mark, and
2 hours. Wow.
we just crossed over the 2-hour mark. And I know
Wow.
Baltimore you want to get out there early and everything, so we're going to start winding down here. Go from left to right. Baldemar, you're on the far left of my panel, and what you got going on? Announcements, my friend. What's new?
Yeah, like I said, I saw about that rant earlier because normally when I get on the roll, I get on the roll, and there's sometimes I say some stuff that there's some stuff that I talk about, and it's like somebody else taking over and saying, "Hey, look, this is what needs to be said," and I hope I said it well tonight.
You did.
Thank you. And the thing
my
is,
hat's off to you, Baltimore.
see, I'm not afraid at all to talk about the truth. So that's what Native Americans we always did. We always talked about the truth. And I'm not going to this day. I'm not going to lie for nobody. I'm not going to admit to nothing. If I feel there's a lie, I'm not going to admit to nothing. And the thing is, again, that's the way that I am, and that's the way I was made. Again, if you don't like it, learn to love it, because that's the way I am. And then and dealing with the researching that we do it well and we do it right, and we don't have to fake nothing. Don't have to prove nothing to nobody. This is who we are. We're researchers. And then the pictures that we take and the footprints that we take, this is what we know that it's the actual factual thing that's what we normally come about. This is what we found. I found only one trap, and I'm real happy with my trap.
Right.
Again, it's totally up to us as researchers to, again, I hate to be repeating myself, but we have to come up there and tell the truth. If we do not tell the truth, if we do not have positive stuff out there, we ain't nobody. So I am just a person that enjoys what I do. I enjoy listening to people's stories. I love teaching the people out there the best way I possibly can. And that's why I'm humbled to have all the friends that I have today, like Nikki, Daniel, you, and everybody else that listen to the show. Sam, to listen to another one. And I'm real proud of calling you my friend. And then there's some people that are totally disrespectful that shouldn't be here. All they need to do is just pack up their toys and just go home, because I don't want to play with you anymore. So I'll just end it at that.
Perfect. Well, what you got, my friend? You said you wanted to make an announcement tonight, or put them out there. You told me in Messenger.
Oh, you talking about me?
No, I'm talking about Bigfoot on your wall. Yes, you.
Oh, hold on. Let me go get him. Yo, Bruno. His name is Bruno. Okay. First of all, I want to. First of all, before I was starting off, I want to say, Baldemar, everything you said, well said, and more and more people I wish were more open and honest, and about how we see things, and but I want to give a big thank you, because I never really gave much recognition. I mean, maybe in a Facebook post, but I've never really come to realize just how many people I really have out there that, follow me and support me, and it is mind blowing. I mean, I've had a lot of feedback constantly. People reach out to me privately all the time. My Facebook Messenger blows up. And I have a lot of supporters out there that listen to everything that's around here on social media. And they're smart enough to make judgment on their own. And, and I get constant words of encouragement, and I mean, call me a sissy, a wussy, or whatever, but, the encouragement and the words, they're almost inspirational. And I'm not going to lie, I'm reading some of the things that people say to me, cheer me up, in a good way, and I'm not perfect in any way, shape, or form. But yet people come to understand my point of view and where I come from and how I present myself. And as several have said, don't change one bit. If somebody takes what I say as an attack, then that's their problem. You know what? And from here on out, it's going to be ignored because other people expected me to make a video apologizing. I'm not apologizing for something I never did. I'm not apologizing to somebody who lied about me. I'm not apologizing for anybody that twists my words around. I'm not apologizing for someone who threatened me physically. I'm not apologizing to somebody who rants about me every time they go live. I'm not apologizing to somebody who calls themselves a Bigfoot researcher and all they do is bitch and complain. I have no apologies for someone like that. I have no apologies for anyone who doesn't know what they're talking about, who doesn't do their own research. I'm not apologizing to somebody who makes up everything they say. I'm not apologizing to somebody who starts trouble. I will continue sharing and doing what I do and what I've been doing. Nobody or nothing will change me. Yeah, I make corrections on my own. I make mistakes. I'm not perfect, and that's part of growing and learning. We learn from our mistakes. We move on, and you know what? It's part of the research method. I care so much about what I do here. I'm a wildlife and Bigfoot researcher, and I say that proudly. I really am, and I don't care who respects me or who doesn't. You're always going to have your bad, rotten apples, you know. But if somebody can't mind their own business and do their own thing, if they got to worry about what other people are putting out there, it goes to show a lot about that person that they don't know what they're doing. They need to find somebody to copy. If somebody's constantly mimicking and bashing it and mocking what you say, that means that tells me they want to be you. They find you as a threat. They find you as a threat and they want to be you. They wish they had what you had. I got so many followers, it's not funny. I have so many supporters, it's mind blowing. And what I have going on in the future, and what I have come to accomplish, praise God for it. Thank God for it. No man on the earth has made anything possible but God. So with that being said, I apologize to nobody for nothing. You know what? My research and my methods are mine and nobody else's. So take it or leave it. And if you don't like it, as Baldemar says, learn to love it. Biatch.
Nikki, what do you, honey? Stage is yours, honey. You got to show these two up because they've been all over tonight. You go them up, honey.
Yeah, it was a good show. It was a good show. And you know what? It's such a little thing in my life. It means nothing. They mean nothing to me. So that's it. I don't have anything to say about them. They're nothing to me. So I'm gonna do what I do because I love to talk about Bigfoot. I love to. I I believe, and I'm skeptic about the evidence, and that's okay because I have my own opinion. And like Daniel said, nobody is going to change me because I am who I am, and I've been in this community for a really long time, and I have my friends who are really good friends, and I talk to them all the time, and I care about them, and that's all that matters is the people who want to be my friends. That's fine, but I don't need to listen to anybody else, and I don't care what they think about me or us or what we do because it's about us and what makes us happy. I don't have to make them happy. I don't have to have them like me. I don't need people like that in my life. So I'm moving on. Nothing. They mean nothing to me. So I'm going to go on just the way I am. I love what Bigfoot Odyssey's doing, and I love what a lot of people are out there doing. And that's who I'm going to follow. The ones that I appreciate and I like, and rock hounding with Bigfoot and Tracy, and I can go on and on. The Squatch team and the Gotros and Hiker Dave and there's so many, you guys, of course. So I don't need that. I've got things that are going great right now in my life, and I'm going to keep it that way. So piss on them. Sorry for my language, but I'm done with it.
Hey, we're Raw and Uncensored, honey. That's what we do. We don't censor our language. We are 100%.
Hey, real quick, Nikki, you were mentioning several people, and one person came to mind. I wish he was still around. I think about him every so often. Mitchell Waite.
Yeah.
He was always fun to listen to.
He was a great friend, and I was fortunate to meet him personally and have a picture taken with him, and I was supposed to go out with him, and it just never came about, and that was my loss, that I waited so long, because I always thought he would be there, so
yeah, that's
but
too
there's
bad.
A lot more researchers. What's up?
Oh no, I was just saying that's too bad. I was gonna ask you, do you know how old he was when he died?
Oh my God, I did at the time, but I couldn't remember now.
I was wondering if I was thinking he might have been up in his 70s, maybe.
Yeah, he was, because he had a full career, with the Air Force. So.
Oh. Interesting.
Well,
yeah.
With all hearts and minds clear, I'm gonna say a little. These last coming up on form now have been rough and everything, and it's been for these past 4 years having to work my way up, work my team up from the ground up. I'm a blessed man to be where I'm trying not to cry right now, guys, but I can't cry. But I have everyone that subscribed to this channel, everyone that follows my team on Facebook and YouTube, and everybody that's taking their time out to take this little old boy and help him live his dream and help support him with what he's passionate about. I'm so blessed that I got Daniel and I got Baldemar and you, Nikki, in my life, everything. And I'm so blessed with the Squatters, Jen and Jena, for them being there whenever I need them and everything, not outside of Bigfoot personally. And I thank every single of you for everything that you've done for me. If someone had told me that I would be here 4 years ago, I'd said you were full of freaking shit and everything, and I'd look in your face. I didn't expect to go far. It was just something I was passionate about. You guys made it more fun. And whenever I first got to meet Daniel and got to see that big ass goofy grin on his face and hear his Donald Duck voice and him hug my neck, then we went and picked Baldemar up from the airport and where's his cave. I stuck my hand out to shake his hand. He said, "Get out of the way, give me a hug." And honestly, whenever I left and everything from the conference this last year, I cried my eyes out. Even Mom could tell you, whenever we come down that road to the Augusta Expo, I was like a kid at the candy store. I was getting to meet my idols and everything. Every single one of you guys are such an important part of my life, and I thank every single one of you for what you guys have done for me.
Oh, we love you, Zach.
Yeah, Zach, you gotta shut up.
Too, Nikita.
You gotta shut up. You're making me.
And
this took a turn.
I try not to get emotional and everything, but a real man will cry, and everything. And in light of everything that's been going on, Fred and Connie are saying, I am not going to stop my research. If anything, it's putting a fire under my ass. I go and I am a believer in Bigfoot, but I'm skeptical in everything that everyone says and tells me and shows me. I will continue to question everything. It doesn't matter if it's Fred Caney or if it's Todd Standing or if it's someone else that I'm with. They present me with something. I'm going to question it, and I am going to break that motherfucker down till I can go and see and prove to myself whether or not if it's bullshit, if it is true. I am not going to stop, and I'm not going to let some toothless junk tell me and you guys how to run our own shit.
Zach, it's I consider people like that like anchors. Those are the ones that is putting our our research down. Saying all this negative stuff about each other and just question. People like that. If Fred Caney and I was just talk about Fred. If Fred Caney wasn't a part here of the Bigfoot research stuff, can you imagine how far that would have gotten, without ever mentioning his name a few months ago, even years ago? I kind of feel that he's a dead anchor to our research, and instead of doing all the negative stuff about researching, we need to concentrate on the positive things instead of the negative things, because too many right now in this world right now, for the past few months, actually for the past a year, it's nothing but negative, negative, negative. Now we have to come up there and turn this whole thing around, grab the bull by the horns, and turn it to a different direction and say, you know what, we're going to go this year, we're going to go turn it to the most positive direction, and we're going to have the support of our team. He's no longer there anymore. As the way I see it, he's no longer there anymore. He's not a threat anymore. And then the thing is, again, from this day forward, we're going to be concentrated upon doing our work and our research the best way that we could possibly do.
Exactly, because not one man has all the answers except God. No, I answer to no. I only answer to one man, and that is God Almighty, that I sent His Son to die for me, and I give my life to Him when I'm 12 years old. I answer to no man, and I fear no man. Whatever you want about me, I don't care. I do my own thing. I set my reputation on a lot of things. I'm not afraid to risk it whenever it comes down to personal deal. I appreciate every single one of you guys. You guys are awesome and everything, and everybody that's still on the chat thing, I appreciate you guys. But let's see. Updates. Next Friday, I will not be on Bigfoot Zone. I will be giving a lecture at the West Frankfort Public Library at 4 o'clock. Well, I might be able to make it. I will be broadcasting that live here on YouTube, especially.
So 4 o'clock your time. So that would be 5 o'clock
East my time.
Okay.
Yep.
And that's. I should be around to listen to that. Oh well, I mean, listen. That's if you're going to broadcast it, yeah.
But and also I want to say a reminder. So we did the Bigfoot Zone / Raw Uncensored crossover tonight. Might be an episode of Raw and Uncensored tomorrow night. We will resume our regularly scheduled podcast this next week, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I got the lecture this next week, and then the first part of May, I'm speaking at Wild Pine Mountain, and then I will be back in Harlan on June the 8th with my brother Daniel. And then the end of June, I'll be back with Daniel at the ECBRO Bigfoot Conference. Then July 27th, me and Daniel will be back together again. This time his ass is coming to meet for the Southern Illinois Bigfoot Conference. So we got a pretty good year this year, guys. So let's go and let's make the best of it. Put the past behind us. Moving forward, let's make this year the year of Bigfoot. Let's make 2000 go down in history as the year of Bigfoot. What do you say, guys?
Yeah, I'm on board.
Yeah.
There's a lot that we have a lot to look forward to this year. And real quick, it just popped in my head just a couple days ago. one of our customers at work when I was when I was in the stockyard. My boss was loading somebody's truck up, and I just got back from one of my first runs before I had to run back out. And I'm standing there, I'm chit chatting with the customer, and while he's standing up in the back of his truck, his box truck, and he looks down, he says, "Where do you get your T-shirt from?" Because I was wearing my design event T-shirt from last year, and I looked at him. I said, "I designed it." I showed him the back because he was reading my shirt, Virginia Bigfoot Con, and and he started sharing some information with me. Well, after I told him, I said it's an annual event that I put on every year here in Virginia, and so he started sharing some information, and him and his brother, they own, him personally, he owns like over 50 acres, and he says they camp there and hunt there all the time. He says I've never seen no Bigfoot, but he says I know they're there. He says I hear them. I said what? He said yeah, they vocalize, they tree knock. I said well, what do you mean they vocalize? I said yeah. He said I've heard they whoop at you. They have screams. I said really? And he told me where it was, and I got excited because it's like that's like really close to one of the other areas I used to go to. I was like, I know that area, so that's like awesome. And he said the only people that go there are just him and his brother. And this is an older guy, old timer, and here's a guy who's been hunting. He's a hunter. He know if it was something known or a known species, he would have known that. But anyway, I just thought it was cool because he continued asking more information about the event. He said, "When is it?" Blah blah blah. So yeah, we may have more customers. He's going to spread the news to his brother. There's a couple others that are Bigfoot believers. They're really into it, but the rest of his family think he's nuts. I said, "Join the club, buddy."
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool as hell. I gave him a couple of my cards I happen to have with me in my box, in my lunch box. And so, but yeah, but for a final thing, like what Baldemar said, we're going to focus on what we do and continue moving on. And, because regardless of what we do, we can't make everybody happy. Not everyone's going to agree. And regardless of who wants to jump our shit, like the Bible says, you can't a leper can't change his spots. So regardless if we ignore, say anything or not, it's going to continue happening. Because some people just have no
matter
life.
how much we kiss their ass.
Yeah, there's no sense in it. People don't know how to change because they don't know how to move on and have their own life. So
Right.
So
everybody.
So.
Well, everybody, again, thank you guys for tuning in to this episode on Uncensored, crossed over with Bigfoot Zone. Be sure to tune in to Bigfoot Zone. You going to be able to have the podcast next week, Dan?
Yeah, because as of the 8th, my everything renews after the 8th, so I'll definitely be able to do that.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, Bigfoot Zone will resume regularly scheduled podcast next Friday. April 12th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Raw and Uncensored will be back this next Saturday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time on April 13th. So I hope everybody had a very showing tonight and liked what we had to present. And we thank everybody for your support. Till then, everybody, we love every single one of you. God bless every single one of you. Stay watchy, keep a wary eye out, keep your ears to the wind and your nose to the ground. And we'll see you guys next time on the show, Raw and Uncensored. All right, everybody.
Raw.
Night.